This is the Bay Area's news station. KRON 4 News at 5 starts now.
Now at 5.
And everybody was, joyous. It's just beautiful ladies, beautiful occasion,
A bachelorette party ends in horrific death. Their Lincoln limousine suddenly bursts into flames in the middle of the San Mateo Bridge. 5 women die in the flames. 4 others barely escape. The man at the wheel talks about the probable cause.
I smelled carpet, I smelled wiring, I smelled plastic. To me, in my opinion, it probably was electrical.
Driver Orville Brown talking about Saturday's tragedy. Despite the obvious stress from the experience, Catherine Heenan is here now with more on his remarkable story. Catherine.
Yeah, Orville Brown, Pam, says that he picked up his 9 passengers in Alameda. He was driving them to a party in Foster City. He says there were no signs of trouble until the trip was almost over.
One of the ladies knocked on the partition and she said, "Smoke," and I figured that she was asking if she could smoke a cigarette. I said, well, we only have 4 more minutes, and the boss doesn't allow us to smoke in the limo. About 30 seconds passes, and she knocks again, and I look back. This time I'm kind of concerned. I smell smoke. I look back, and I just saw the grief, the anguish, the grief on her face. And then I started smelling smoke. I started seeing smoke. So we pulled over. It was kind of, it's kind of frustrating, kind of scary. I'm driving, and we pull over, and there's, it's nowhere really to pull over. So we're in the lane. So I'm, looking back and making sure that everything's safe. As soon as I pulled over, one of the ladies hops through the partition. There's 2 cars, one in front of us, I believe, one in back of us, and these guys are trying to help. As I see the ladies coming through the partition, I'm trying to use the phone. I can't use the phone. I'm shaking. I'm nervous. By this time, someone had opened up the rear door, and the limo was engulfed in flames in the rear. There was a lady coming through that had got stuck. I pulled her out, and then one more got out. And it's just, it was horrific, just something that I never imagined, never would imagine to happen.
Coming up on KRON 4 News at 5:30, Orville Brown describes his frustration in trying to get through to a 911 operator and what he thinks legislators should do to prevent future tragedies. Pam?
And this is a photograph of the newlywed who was killed in the deadly limousine fire, 31-year-old Terisa Fojas. According to published reports, she and her friends were celebrating her recent marriage. Relatives say she was planning to travel to her native Philippines to hold another ceremony. What caused the tragic accident is now the focus of a team of experts. As KRON 4's Terisa Estacio reports tonight, authorities spoke emotionally about the accident and their promise to work quickly to find out what went wrong.
On behalf of all public safety personnel who assisted with this tragic event, I'd like to offer our heartfelt condolences to the victims, their families, and their friends.
As authorities attempt to piece together what happened in this accident, they spoke also about the emotional toll it has taken on everyone involved.
Firefighters work hard every day to help those who call us, but despite our best efforts, our actions could not change the course of events that led to this tragedy. We are devastated by this incident.
The coroner weighed in on how, in the last minutes, the women huddled together.
They were found forward of the limousine, in between the partition, the passenger compartment, and the driver's compartment. One could say that they were getting away from the fire, and that's why they were in the front towards the partition, and you could also probably say that they were trying to get out as well.
Authorities say that there will be many different components of their investigation. One part will focus on the vehicle itself that you can see here in this YouTube video. Questions such as, were the doors of the limo working? Was the gas tank punctured?
I can't speak specifically to the condition of the vehicle since We have not conducted the vehicle inspection at this point, so any comments that I have would be pure speculation at this point.
As far as now, sources tell KRON 4 News that the limo is parked inside this towing facility. It was brought here shortly after the accident. Soon, a team of experts will come out here and start to examine every single inch of the vehicle. Authorities say that it could be several weeks before they have any answers. In Redwood City, Terisa, Estacio, KRON 4 News.
All right, now we'll break down the specifics of that limousine that caught fire. This year's animation showing an overhead view of the layout of a 1999 Lincoln Town Car limo. That's the one that was being driven this weekend. You can see the large space in the back right here. That's where passengers are. That's the passenger area. 9 women in this case were back there. And then there's the partition we've been mentioning. That's the area right here that separates the passenger area from the driver area. And the fire was in the back of the limo. This area right here. 4 women managed to get out alive. The driver saying he pulled 1 or 2 of the survivors through the partition. We heard him just a moment ago, pulled them through that partition right here into the driver area and then out one of the front doors. The 5 victims that died were found in this area right here between the partition area and the driver area. We also have images of the interior and exterior of an 8-passenger limo from the limousine company's website. These are 2 rear doors for passengers to enter and exit. There's one on the other side of the vehicle as well. Inside, you can see the partition area that we've been mentioning right here, this area right here, and that can be lowered and raised electronically. The driver typically has control of that partition area. When you think about it, and the women who did not make it, just a horrific scene. Those victims that died were gathered in the partition area when the firefighters eventually were able to get to them.
Officials with Limo Stop, the company which owns the limo, released a statement saying that they are deeply saddened by the deaths and promise to help with the investigation. That statement reads, quote, Limo Stop, Inc. will do everything possible to investigate and assist authorities in determining the cause of this fire in order to help bring forth answers and provide closure to the victims and their families. And we are learning more about the women injured in the crash. Their names are Jasmine Desquia of San Jose, Nelia Ariano of Oakland, Amalia Loyola of San Leandro, and Mary Gargiano of Alameda. There is much more ahead on the deadly limousine fire. We will hear more from the driver and bring you any updates that come into the newsroom throughout this hour.